Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodeau, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And you know, it's South Louisiana weather, so it's one of these things where we always want to make sure we're paying attention. We like to get our information from those people that know. We welcome into the broadcast Tyler Stanfield. Tyler, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good, man. Appreciate it. Tyler is a forecaster with the National Weather Service out of New Orleans. And look, we go from hot to very cold and freezing snow to some severe weather. So I know we're expecting some of these things to take place on Saturday. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are thinking about in a forecast for our Saturday's event.
Yeah, right now we're definitely expecting some whiplash. We had that front come through this morning. But we already have another system on the horizon already entering from the west coast of the United States. So we do have a threat for severe weather on Saturday. Expecting the predominant highest risk of severe weather to be outside of southeast Louisiana up in Mississippi. You can see the enhanced risk on the graphic showing that the area of highest risk is going to be to our north. However, we do expect there to be increasing showers and storms in the area, especially in coastal Louisiana, going to be after 6 p.m. on Saturday. And that threat of severe weather is going to be at its highest in the evening and overnight hours, especially after, say, 9 p.m. to midnight time frame. Mainly going to be looking at potential for tornadoes, damaging winds for that area on the coastal Louisiana. But you can't rule out some small hail as well. The biggest thing for us is going to be just watching the trends for this system specifically as we get closer and making sure that we can keep the most accurate forecast available to you guys. Again, though, it looks like the highest risk is going to be along and north of the I-10-12 corridor for this specific event.
Yeah, well, we know that we've got a large viewing area, and a lot of the people that tune in, they like to try and find out what's happening. So I appreciate that. We know some of the most severe weather is going to be, again, mostly north of us in Mississippi. But we also need to be aware of that moderate weather that we can see somewhere along Baton Rouge. As you can see, all of Baton Rouge, Hammond, Slidell, going into Biloxi, Mississippi. But just south of that, New Orleans, Houma, our viewing area here, a little bit closer to where we are at the station. We need to be prepared. Just because the highest risk is north of us doesn't mean that we shouldn't be very concerned and aware of that weather and when it's coming through. And again, so we're expecting some rain or some different thunderstorms as it's going to increase over time, over the afternoon, 5-ish or so, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, in that time frame, start to increase?
Yeah, at this point, we do expect the rain chances to be at their highest after 6 p.m. into the overnight hours, especially for the coastal Louisiana area. It's going to be a little bit more spotty than up north. The rain chances are still, in the 80 to 90% chance. So you're still going to probably see some showers and storms in the area. Really, the winds and the gusty winds that can be impactful, especially if you have trees falling. So especially in the overnight and dark hours, make sure that you have flashlight. Make sure you're prepared for any kind of isolated power outages that may occur from these storms. And also, make sure that you take shelter if there is a warning that's issued for your area.
Right, and we'll make sure we push that out. Jason, put the flyer up one more time, or that graphic. I want people to be able to see what we're talking about with some of these winds, because some of these winds are going to be a little bit extreme. And so can we talk about what those anticipated winds may be?
Right, so ahead of the system, it's going to be upwards of 20 to 30 miles per hour gusting. And then with the actual, any kind of stronger or severe storm that occurs with this system could produce winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. The highest threat, again, is going to be predominantly, in that I-10-12 corridor north, but you could still see an isolated thunderstorm capable of those kind of damaging winds that could damage trees and produce, broken limbs and power outages in an isolated fashion.
Okay. And we appreciate the information ahead of time. We want to make sure that people have a good plan in place. And so we want to make sure that it's a good time to practice the severe weather drill, right? And making sure that people are prepared for that.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. And again, have a plan, review your plan, and practice if you need to with your kids and with pets and knowing what you need to do. And so we want to make sure that people always get updates. I know that we have lots of ways to get those warnings. So Jay, put that one up so people can know about a plan for that. I'll let you tell us a little about these, Tyler.
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow us on social media at NWS New Orleans on Facebook and Twitter, X, and the other folks that you're going to be able to tune into, obviously your local TV and radio are going to probably be displaying those warnings anytime they're issued. NOAA weather radio is also a great thing to have just as a way to keep in your home. Those things will alert when you do get a warning, and as well as your cell phone. Make sure that your WIA alerts are on. You can go to the settings in your if you have a smartphone or a regular phone, you should be able to enable those in your settings going to the notifications section. To be able to identify that and make sure that, your friends and family are also aware of this threat coming up, just so that they're aware and keep weather aware during the day.
Yeah. And of course, here at HTV, we're going to be able to push information out. We'll do that through Facebook, through YouTube, as long as we can, and certainly live on the air to be able to do that as well. So Tyler, as we got just a few seconds left, any final tips you can tell us or any thoughts that you want to share for people here in our area?
Yeah, absolutely. Just stay weather aware. I mean, I know that there's going to be a lot of outdoor events and stuff, especially as we get into Mardi Gras season. So especially as we get into spring and more active severe weather season, just make sure that you're taking the right precautions and staying weather aware with, like I said, all of these different ways in which you can keep yourself in the know with regards to weather threats in the spring and beyond as well.
Well, Tyler, we appreciate it very, very much. Of course, Tyler Stanfield, National Weather Service, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, being able to share with us that information. We thank you for taking your time to share that with us, and we'll see you on the other side of this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Very good. All right. Again, guys, that's just an update from the National Weather Service about what we should do and how we can be prepared. And that will do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou time when we continue.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.